Good day, class. We will now be discussing about your laboratory safety. So for your laboratory safety, we use as guidelines with regards to the safety of our laboratory as to the agencies that they are coming from. And what are these standards? No? Safety standards are usually made by this agency. So first agency that we have is your OSHA. OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Then you do have your Clinical and Laboratory Standard Institute, which is CLSI. Also CDC, which is Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Then the CAP, or College of American Pathology. And then the TJC, which is the Joint Commission. Okay, so these agencies provide us standard protocols with regards to laboratory safety, and this laboratory safety is all um, being implemented with regards all throughout the world. Okay, so for OSHA, within the U.S. Department of Labor to set levels of safety and health for all workers in the United States. Now, usually this OSHA is being the standard with regards to the implementation of the safety of the laboratories, not only in the US, but also here in Asia, and specifically with the Philippines. Okay? Then the Clinical Laboratory Standards Institute. No? This is a non-profit educational organization that set voluntary and consensus standard for all areas of clinical laboratories. So for clinical laboratories, we usually you know, have the standard for the practice, specifically with the enhancement no, of how we do clinical laboratory tests no, and how we will protect our results when we are doing those things. So those protocols or policies that we are making are based on the CLSI. Okay, then for CDC, or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a federal agency that carry out mandated public health laws and reporting requirements. So for this, usually this is a universal that we are complying with. Okay, how do we say that? No, for example, for our COVID-19, the CDC and the World Health Organization, implemented that this pathogen is considered to be your um, pandemic. Okay, how did they stand with that? No, they with thorough investigation and the magnitude of the effect of your disease, then they will have the um, verdict when it will be notified as pandemic, epidemic, or even endemic. Okay. So with all of that agencies that we need to pattern our policies, next we do have all clinical laboratories should have specific safety plans for their laboratories. For example, we do have the chemical hygiene plan. So for this chemical hygiene plan, this contains how your laboratory will be handling chemicals. Okay? Specifically, what equipments are needed for this chemical to be handled. For example, you need fume hoods, okay? Or you need um, refrigerators for keeping it, okay? So those are your plans. Okay, next is exposure control plan. Exposure to what? To the chemicals, no? To the pathogens. What will be the approach when you are being exposed with regards to these agents? No, for example, this is a carcinogenic um, agent or chemical. How this your laboratory will protect you with regards to this carcinogenic chemicals. Kaya yung carcinogenic, cancer-causing agent. Okay? Next is copy of MSDS. So your MSDS is your Material Safety Data Sheet. All of the information needed for you to know with regards to the chemical that you are handling are within this one. So how reactive this chemical is, okay? What is the flammability, no? Ano yung mga hazards na you need to take note with regards to handling this chemical. How do we know that your laboratory is safe? So we will know that our laboratory is safe when we practice safety protocols. To practice that safety protocols, we need to identify hazards. So our safety begins with the recognition of hazard and is achieved through the following. No? How? First is application of common sense. Paano application of common sense? Okay? Mga mama, mga sir, ito po yung alam mo nang matalas o alam mo nang nakakasugat, syempre hindi mo nahahawakan. Common sense. Okay? Eh kung ikaw, wala kang common sense, you don't have any common sense, no? You know that this plate is hot, okay? You will still touch it, no? Kaya, you need to first have common sense. Now, for your laboratory to be safe, alam mo nang grounded yung area na yon, no? May electric shock na napoproduce, ba't mo pahahawakan? Okay? Use your common sense. Okay? Next, listen to the instructions. Okay, before you do anything in the laboratory, first you need to listen to the instructions. Okay, baka mamaya kasi you don't know that you are doing is something harmful or that the one you will be doing will be a laboratory negligence. Okay? So, before you do anything with the laboratory, consult first a senior staff or your head before you do anything. Specifically, if you are new in the laboratory. Okay? Then, a safety-focused attitude. Okay. Safety-focused attitude. How will you do this? No? You always think of something that will come up. Okay? You are focused with the safety. No, nakita mo na yung glass slide nandyan sa tabi mo, pero you didn't do anything. Okay, na-slide yung braso mo. Tumama ka sa glass slide. Then, kanino kasalanan? Okay? It's your fault. You didn't even focus on the safety. Sabihin mo kasi, ay, hindi naman ako naggawa. Hindi naman ako yung naglagay. Okay? So, you need to still have a good safety practice in the laboratory, specifically with regards to your attitude. Kahit hindi ka gumawa, when you know that that thing is dangerous and someone might be hurt, okay, you need to eliminate it. Okay? Then, good personal behavior. Okay, we don't have anything to discuss with good personal behavior. Okay, paano kung may kaaway ka, lagyan mo ng tampak sa ilalim, ano? Ganun ba yun? Siyempre hindi, no? Good personal behavior. So, you need to be good. No? Di porket masungit yung pasyente, gamitin mo na agad is yung 18 gauge na needle, which is napakalaki, parang sesto ng, straw ng sesto. Eh, ang test lang naman, CBC. Okay? You need to have a good personal behavior. Then, good housekeeping in all laboratory work and storage area. Okay. You need to keep your laboratory or working area, tidy as possible. Okay? Clean and tidy. Bakit? Possible, no, hazards might come up if your working area is cluttered. Kung saan nakapatong yung slide mo, kung saan nakapatong yung test tube, kung saan nakapatong yung mga instrument. Okay? E paano kung matabig mo? It will cause pa breakage, no? Or even you will buy another instrument. Okay? So you need to have a clean and tidy working area. And it is up to you. Okay? Then the continual practice of good laboratory technique. Okay? How will you practice a good laboratory technique? Always do a thing in sequence. Okay, after mo mag-transfer ng fluid sa test tube, ano nang gagawin mo? You will wipe whatever splatter in that area, or if you put something there, no, you always double check kung okay na ba, tapos na ba yung mga test na yon, no? That's a good laboratory technique, no? You need a sequence of work or sequence of steps for you to have a good laboratory technique. Okay? Okay, next you do have your two primary causes of accident. First is unsafe acts. Second, unsafe environmental condition. So how do we know that this is unsafe act? Okay, you will know that this is an unsafe act if this is within the laboratory. Ano yung mga unnecessary to do within the laboratory? Okay, nag-horseback riding. Nag-horsey back riding kayo sa laboratory ng tropa mo. Okay, piggyback ride. Natumba kayo pareho. Tumama kayo sa machine. Okay, that's unsafe act. Or, no, alam mo nang may madadapa dun sa area na yun, dun mo pa rin nilagay yung box. Okay? That's an unsafe act. Ano pa? Alam mo na basa yung kamay mo, no, hinawakan mo pa rin yung plug, electrical plug. Ano nangyari sa'yo? Nakuryente ka. Okay? That is unsafe act. No? Yung mga act na unnecessary to do within the laboratory. Next is unsafe environmental conditions. So ano to mga to? Yung mga wires sa laboratory nyo, hindi tama yung mga pagkakakabit. Okay? Mga buhol-buhol, mga nakakalat. Okay, o kaya may mga tanggal na yung balat ng wire that can cause electric shocks. Okay? O kaya naman makalater talaga yung area nyo, hindi kayo marunong maglinis. No? That's unsafe environmental condition. O kaya naman, nung nakaraang pandemic, nung COVID, wala man lang nilagay sa inyong barrier, or you don't wear face mask kasi hindi naman kailangan, hindi naman sinabi ng hospital nyo or ng laboratory to do that. That's unsafe environmental condition. Within the environment ang problema. Okay? So next, you do have safety equipments. So for your safety equipments, okay, safety shower and eye wash station, and then fire extinguisher. How will you use your safety shower and eye wash station? These are usually used for chemical splatter o kaya chemical, no, spoiling. So shower, kung natapunan ka ng corrosive chemical na you need to wash it off immediately. Okay? Kahit naka-uniform ka, naka-ano ka, you need to get on that shower. Because it might cause irritation to your skin and possibly can cause you illness pa. Okay? Your eye wash station, no? This is specific for eyes. Siyempre, kaya nga eye wash station, no? Ano ginagawa dito? You will wash your eyes specifically kung natalsi ka ng kahit ano. Okay? Lalo na kung reagent yan. You don't know what's the content of your reagent, you need to wash it off. Okay? And how will you do it? Right fountain of the eye is for the left eye. Right eye is for the left fountain. Okay? Para the water will go to your temples, not to the other eye. Paano kung yung right eye mo na ginamit mo doon sa right fountain? Okay, edi syempre yung tubig maglalagas-las lang sa left eye. So makakontaminate din yung left eye mo. Okay, kaya dapat right to left, left to right when you're using eye wash station. Next is your fire extinguisher. How will you use it? Specifically with fire. Yung fire extinguisher, no? So, we also have other safety equipments, no? Fume hoods. These fume hoods, no, eliminate possible carcinogenic or dangerous fumes coming from your chemicals or being released by your chemicals. Next are your biosafety cabinets. No, usually magkamukha ang biosafety cabinet at yung fume hood, but your biosafety cabinet has a negative pressure in it, and it has a HEPA filter in it. What do you mean by HEPA? High efficiency particulated air. Okay, this filters out the air for you to be safe. Okay, usually your biosafety cabinets are being used for microbiological studies. Okay, next is for your complete PPE. Ano yung complete PPE? Head cap, mask, gown, gloves, eyewear or face shield, shoe cover. That's your complete PPE. Safety in the laboratory. Type of safety hazard. First, type of safety hazard, you do have your biological hazards. And what are the source of these biological hazards? Usually, they are alive or infectious agents, such as your pathogens in the laboratory or disease causing illnesses. Okay, ano mga example niyan? Anthrax. Okay, that's an infectious agent. O kaya Klebsiella. Okay? Simplehan na natin. Your tuberculosis. Okay, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. That's an infectious agent. That's a biological hazard. Because these are microorganisms that they are known to be alive. Okay? Pag sa biological, they are alive. Okay, possible injury, infections, caused by your bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites. Okay. Other types of your safety hazard, you'd have your sharps. What are the source of your sharps? Needle, lancets. Lancets are micro needles being used to bled patients. Okay. Broken glasses. Okay. Possible injury that you will have, cuts, puncture, or bloodborne pathogen exposure. Okay? Kaya we need to dispose our sharp properly with sharp-proof or puncture-proof containers. Okay? Then for chemicals, preservatives and reagent. We are commonly encountering chemicals in the laboratory. Okay. So, exposure to non-toxic and carcinogenic or caustic agent. Okay? Then radioactive equipments and radioisotopes. Siyempre, radiation exposure. Okay? Then electrical, undergrounded or wet equipment, frayed cords, okay, which will cause possible injury, burns, and shock. Okay? And this could be fatal. Then fire or explosives. What are the source of this? Your Bunsen burners, mga alcohol lamps. Okay? Organic chemicals that are usually flammable. Okay? Possible injury that you will get, syempre burn. And dismemberment. Ano yung dismemberment? Maputulan ka ng extremities or any organ, any part of your body caused by your fire. Then you have physical hazard. Okay? These are wet floors, heavy boxes, and patient. Okay, ano yung mga possible injury mo dito? Fall, sprain, and strains. Kaya we always put cautionary signs for us to notice possible hazards. Kunya may wet floor o kaya merong low beam. Sa low beam, yung mauuntog ka. Okay? Palagay doon, watch your head. Sa steps naman, sa hagdan, watch your steps. Okay? So we put some precautionary measures for us to not have an incident or a hazard. Okay, next. Said, biological hazards are microorganisms frequently present in specimen na received in the clinical laboratory. So, CDC in 1987 promulgated the universal precaution. Okay, this universal precaution states that blood and bodily fluids precaution should be consistent use for all patients. Okay? You don't pick patients that you will use gloves. You don't pick patients that you will use masks. Ang sabi ni CDC with regards to this universal precaution, treat all patient, all specimen as infectious or harmful. Okay? Lahat, lahat ay pwede kang ma-infect. Kaya you need to be careful with all of them. Yun ang sabi dyan. Okay? Specimen should be kept during centrifugation. Why? Centrifugation causes fumes and possible pathogens can live with droplets and fumes. Okay? Kaya, sabi din ni CDC, you need to cap your specimen during centrifugation. Okay. Any blood, bodily fluid, or other potential infectious materials spilled must be cleaned up using spill cleanup kit. Okay? What is your spill cleanup kit composed of? No, usually these are paper towels with diluents, no, or even chemicals that can neutralizes biological hazard. Okay? Then, common aqueous detergent. Ito yung usually na ginagamit natin sa laboratory. Yung mga may sabon. Okay? Then, 10% bleach using appropriate contact time. So, with the 10% bleach, okay, this is common disinfectant that we are using in laboratory. 10% bleach. And how you will have it? Sometimes, you have 9 ml of water and 1 ml of bleach. Okay, 1 ml bleach. That's 10%, no, bleach. Okay, appropriate contact time, usually we have time to wait, no, with regards to it. For Hepa B, 15 minutes. For HIV, 30 minutes, usually. Okay? Next steps to clean blood spill. First, you need to wear your PPEs. You need to do the donning. Okay? Use forceps to discard the broken glass on sharp containers. So usually your spill kit should have a forceps, no, for picking up possible sharp object, and your contaminated towels. Okay? Next, cover with absorbent paper towels. Okay? You will cover it with tissue or the towels provided with your spill kit. Okay? Then, you will flood the area with 10% bleach solution. Kahit na meron na yung paper towel, buhusan mo pa rin. Okay? Flood the area, hindi yung wisik-wisik lang. Flood it. Okay? Then, let it sit for 10 minutes. Then, clean up the area with paper towel again. No? Dispose all those materials in biohazard bag. Usually, this is color yellow bag. Repeat if necessary. Paano sinabing repeat if necessary? If there's still a blood stain on the floor or in the area of spill, you still need again to clean it. Okay. Categories of exposure. So OSHA, bloodborne pathogen standard requires written exposure plans. Exposure control plans. Okay. Category 1, daily exposure to blood and bodily fluids. Okay. Category 2, regular exposure to blood and body fluids. Category 3, no exposure to blood and body fluids. Okay. Employers must offer Hepa B vaccine or hepatitis B vaccine to all personnel category 1, 2. Bakit? Si category 1 and 2 lang? Because they have exposure to blood and bodily fluids. Okay? The only bloodborne pathogen that we have vaccine with is your Hepa B. That's why, no, all healthcare workers are required to have their Hepa B vaccines, no, before being deployed or have the work have to work with the patients. Specifically, as medical technologies, no, we deal with needles that are being used with patients. Kaya pag na-needle stick injury kayo, natusok nyo yung sarili nyo na nagamit na yung needle from other patient, always report it immediately for precautionary measures. Okay? Next, you do have the biohazard symbol. So your biohazard symbol looks like this. Okay? And it has meanings. Okay? So for this circle is for source, no? Source of what? Infection. How do we eliminate it? By hand washing, biohazard waste disposal, decontamination, specimen bagging. Okay. Next is your transmission. No, how do we eliminate this transmission? No, hand washing, PPE, aerosol prevention, sterile disposable equipment, pest control. And lastly, as host, no, standard precaution, immunization, healthy lifestyle, exposure control plans, and post-exposure prophylaxis. So this is parts of your chain of infection. So you have the source, you have the transmission, and you have the host. Okay, they are interconnected with each other. Okay, and we need to cut that chain for us to have a healthy patient or possible, no, hazard-free environment. Okay, and these are your interventions. Okay, so this is an example on a breaking of your chain of infection. So for example, you do have the infectious agents, okay? Ano gagawin dito? Diagnosis and treatment, no? Specifically, antimicrobial, no? Administration. For reservoir, how do we remove it? No? The dirty surfaces and equipments, people, water, animals, or insects, and even soil. How do we break that part of the chain? We need cleaning, disinfection, sterilization, infection prevention policies, and pest control. Okay? Next is your portal of exit. Your portal of exit is how the manner of how to transmit your infection. Okay? Open wounds and skins, splatter of body fluids, and aerosols. How do you break this chain? No? With simple hand washing, personal protective equipment, control of aerosols and splatters, respiratory etiquette, and waste disposal. Okay, for mode of transmission, we do have various mode of transmission. We do have direct contact, okay, or contact. Next, we do have ingestion, inhalation. Okay, and how do we break this part of the chain? Basically, you just need to have a basic hand washing, PPE, food safety, clean disinfection, sterilization, and isolation. Then portal of entry. Okay, these are broken skin, incisions, respiratory tract with your nose and mouth, mucous membrane with your eyes, catheters and tubes, okay, that are being used with the patients. Okay, how do we break this? No, hand washing, PPE, always may PPE. Bakit? This is a primary protection, kaya nga personal protective equipment. Okay, personal hygiene, first aid, removal of catheter and tubes. And lastly, your susceptible host. This is any person, so specifically those receiving health care. Usually, they are immunocompromised patients. And how do we prevent these patients to be infected? Okay, through immunization, treatment of lying disease, okay, health insurance, and patient education with regards to the disease that is spread. Okay? So for chemical hazards, no, chemical spills, When skin contact occurs, and best first aid is to flush the area with large amount of water for at least blank. Okay, this is 5 to 20 minutes. It depends. 5 minutes for non-irritants and 15 to 20 for irritants. Okay, then seek medical attention. Then, we do have chemical handling. Okay, for chemical handling, chemicals should never be mixed together unless specific instructions are followed. Okay, wag kang galing-galingan, ano? Gusto mo maging ano ka doon, parang mad scientist, pinaghalo-halo mo yung kung ano-ano. Okay? That is not how you properly do your job. And they must be added in order specified. Always, no, when you are combining acid and water, mauuna lagi si water before acid. Okay? Bakit? Mas stable si water. Unlike acid, no, pag inuna mo acid then water, it may cause a reaction or a violent reaction with regards to the acid being first. Next is chemical hygiene plan, no? OSHA also require all facility that uses hazardous chemical to have a written chemical hygiene plan. Sinabi na natin yan kanina. Available to employees. The purpose of the plan is to detail the following. Okay? Appropriate work practice. Nandun nakalagay kung ano ba talaga yung dapat mong gawin with regards to handling chemicals. Okay, standard operating procedure. What are those steps that you need to follow when you are handling chemicals and doing tests? Okay, PPE. Okay, the PPE required for the chemical handling, engineering controls, okay, such as your provision of fume hoods and flammable safety cabinets, and even storage or refrigerators for your flammable hazards. Then, employee training equipments and medical consultation guidelines. No, educate the employees for you to have a good practice with regards to laboratory safety. Okay? Okay, next is your storage and handling of chemicals. So, for flammable and combustible chemicals, classified according to flash point, the temperature at which the sufficient vapor is given off to form an ignitable mixture with air. So with regards to this, no, you need to keep in mind that you need to keep these chemicals in a flame or fire safe cabinet, wherein you need to classify them as to the reactability of it. Next is the corrosive chemicals, injurious to skin or eyes with direct contact, okay, or to the tissue of the respiratory and gastrointestinal tract if inhaled or ingested. These are no irritants of your skin and basically irritants of all of your body. Okay, corrosive chemicals. Reactive chemicals, spontaneous explode or ignite or that evolves heat or flame explosive gases. So pag sabi mong reactive chemicals, these are chemicals that are too active. Okay? Konting sunlight, they can cause explosion. Konting kahit malayo yung apoy, they can cause explosion. Konting electrical sparks, they can cause explosion. Okay? They are too active to be handled in non-safe space. Then you have the carcinogenic materials, which are materials that can cause cancers. No? Or chemicals that can cause cancer. Okay. MSDS, your material safety data sheet, no, contains this information. Okay? Let's read on those. So, also, your MSDS should have this one. This is your NFPA labeling system or the National Fire Protection Association. Okay? This is a developed standard system for providing codes and standard information about the chemicals in solution. Okay, for this one, you have the diamond. Okay, the diamond. Anong kailangan nyong maalala dito? The color and the position. So, R is above the area. So, R, Y for yellow, W for blue, and, W for white, and B for blue. Okay, we do have mnemonics here. Okay, Y ang mauuna. So, this is 1. U, were, white is 2. B is 3. Born, red is 4. Right. You were born right. Okay? That's how you um have the mnemonics for remembering the sequence of the colors. Okay. So for their number yellow, it indicates the reactivity. Okay, kung ano yung number na nakalagay dyan, that's the description for the chemical. So number 1, for example here, is number 1. It is unstable if heated. Okay, with the use of heat, this might react. Okay. Next, in the white box or diamond, W dash or hyphen. This is a specific hazard wherein it symbolizes do not use water or use no water with regards to this chemical, for it can violently react with water. Okay? Blue is health hazard. So, number 3 ang example natin dito. This is extremely dangerous. And then, for red, or the fire hazard, for example, here is 2. This might ignite below 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So, that's the NFPA labeling system. So, here is an example of your chemical label. So, you have the specific product, no? Methyl alcohol. Okay? The components of your methyl alcohol. Okay? The instructions. The dangers or the precautionary symbols. Then the NFPA symbol. Then what are needed for this chemical to be handled? This one. And specific instructions for you to follow. Okay. Next is your fire hazard. For your fire hazard, it has classifications as to the class of fire. So class A, usually these are caused by your ordinary combustibles. For example, wood, paper, and cloth. Okay, the type of extinguisher that you need to use with regards to class A fire as are class A fire extinguisher and ABC, which is your A is composed of pressurized water and your ABC is dry chemical. Okay? For type B class of fire, no, these fires are being caused by your flammable liquids such as grease, gasoline, paints, and oils. Ang acronym natin dito, B for basa. So, flame is caused by liquid. So, basa. B for basa. Okay? Your fire extinguisher needed to be used here is your ABC and BC. Siyempre, your ABC is dry chemical. Your BC is carbon dioxide. Next is class C fires. Okay, these are caused by your electrical equipments, motor, and switches. So, ano naman ang palatandaan natin dito kay C? Type C. C for kuryente. Okay? Kuryente na pina-arte. Kuryente. C nag-i-start. Kuryente. Okay, ano yung mga pwede mong gamitin na type of fire extinguisher? Yun here, you do have the BC, halon, and ABC. Okay? Next is the class D fire. No? these are flammable metals and magnesiums. Okay? Then, this can only be distinguished by your metal X. Okay. So, with the use of fire extinguisher, we do have the mnemonics pass. And what is the meaning of pass? First, you need to pull the pin, aim the nozzle to the fire, squeeze the trigger, and sweep the nozzle to eliminate the fire. Okay? That's for your fire extinguisher. For class D, cover burning materials with extinguishing agent, either by a scooping or sprinkling. Also, your class D fires can be used with sand as fire extinguisher. Okay. The Joint Commission on Accreditation of Health Organization, or the Joint Commission, no, requires all healthcare institution post evacuation routes and detailed plans to follow the event on fire. So, kaya tayo may nakikita mga nakapaskil sa poste na you are here, then kung saan nakalagay yung fire extinguisher, saan nakalagay yung water hose, saan yung fire exit. Okay? Because of the Joint Commission accreditation, then laboratory personnel should be familiar with this procedure. Bakit? For emergency purposes. Okay. When fire is discovered, all employees are expected to take action in accordance of race. Okay? On the race, it means R for rescue anyone in danger. No? Syempre, unahin mo muna yung sarili mo. Then, rescue anyone that you can see na nasa danger pa na hindi nila kaya. Okay? A. Alarm. Okay? Alarm who? Alarm everyone within the area of vicinity that this na merong fire or merong explosion. Then C. Contain. If ever that you can contain the fire within the area, contain it. Okay? Try to use fire extinguisher or water hoses. Then extinguish, no? Extinguish with what? With your fire extinguisher and water hoses. Okay? Sorry, sa to contain is for the contain, no? Close the doors. If ever you see a fire in that area that doesn't have anyone to be saved with. So close the door to contain the area. Sorry. Okay. So we do have fire hotline. So for Antipolo, Central Fire Station, or Bureau of Fire Protection, you do have 8871-2865. Then for Mayamot Substation, 8250-0497. Next is for your electrical hazard. Okay, for electrical hazards, no? Ungrounded or wet equipments, frayed cords. Ano pag sinabi natin frayed cords? Yung may mga tapyas-tapyas o yung may mga exposed wires. Okay? Electrical safety. Lookout or tag malfunctioning electrical or mechanical equipment until service. Okay? Kung sira yan, may ground yung makina or machine mo, put a label on it. Okay? Know how to knock a shocked person loose using a non-conductive material. Okay, if ever that someone will be electrocuted, okay, wag na wag mo nga hawakan, syempre. Or wag mong gagalawin siya with a conductive material, specifically your metals. No, paano mo siya tatanggalin doon? Hatawin mo ng upuan. So, no, hatawin mo ng or i-move mo siya, tanggalin mo siya doon sa pagkakahawak niya sa wire or pagkakadikit sa kanya ng wire through wood, no? Kaya cloth, okay? Para hindi siya ma-electrocute or try to turn off the switch. Okay? Try to turn off the switch or the breaker. Okay, to prevent further damage to the person. Okay. So what are the precautionary procedures for your electrical equipments? Use only explosion-proof equipments in hazard atmosphere. No, be particularly careful when operating high voltage equipment such as electrophoresis apparatuses. Okay, check for frayed electrical cords. Okay, promptly report any malfunction or equipment. Do not work on live electrical equipments. Okay, kung meron man bukas pa yung ano mo, then gusto mong kalikutin yung machine dahil may tumutunog, you need to unplug it and have it checked. Then never operate electrical equipment with wet hands. Okay, because your water is what electric conductor. If ever that there will be a ground on that, it will magnify and have you electrocuted. Then know the exact location of the electrical control panel for electricity to your work area. Bakit? No? If ever that you don't have, no, you know this area and someone will be electrocuted, just turn off this switch. Okay? Kung hindi ka makahanap ng pantanggal mo sa kanya habang nakukuryente siya doon, no? Wala kang kahoy na makita, eh alam mo naman tong panel na to, this control panel, just turn it off. Okay? Next is your radiation hazard. For your radiation hazard, equipment and radioisotopes, no? With specific radiation safety. All areas where radioactive materials are used or stored must be posted with caution sign, and traffic in this area should be restricted to essential personnel only. Okay? Radiation monitoring utilizes film badge or survey meter. So usually this film badge or survey meters, you can see this yung parang black na naka-attach sa mga radiotechs natin or radtech natin on their chest. Okay? That is to measure the radiation exposure for them. Okay, the maximum permissible dose is 5,000 mrm per year for whole body. So, yun yung mini-measure natin with regards to the film badge. Okay? Usually, medtechs are not exposed to radioactive materials unless you are dealing with nuclear medicine. Okay? Next, mechanical hazards. Okay, centrifuge must be balanced to distribute the load equally. So if ever that you place a test tube here, you should place the test tube opposite to that side with same amount of fluid that is placed. Bakit? To have it balanced. Okay, never open the lid until the rotor has come to complete stop. Okay, usually ano to napapansin namin sa mga students, ano? Ini-stop nila with hands yung centrifuge kahit umiikot pa. Okay, that can cause injury. No? Don't do it. Safety locks on equipment should never be rendered inoperable. So always check your safety locks kung gumagana. Kung hindi, just report it and have it checked or replaced. Okay. Glass beads help eliminate bumpings, boil over when liquids are heated. So usually, we use this when dealing with high thermal conduction. And then infectious sharps, no, disposed in OSHA approved containers or puncture proof containers. Okay. So how do we dispose hazardous materials? So we do have 4 basic waste disposal technique. First is flushing down the drain, incineration, landfill burials, and recycling. Okay? So, for example, this picture here, yan, nasa landfill na yan, pero still nakuha siya ng bata. Kaya, for this type of hazardous material, usually, we incinerate it. Ano yung incineration? Sinusunog until mawala. Okay, for chemicals that are not toxic to environment, we just flush them down to the drain. Okay, the dilution. Recycling, okay, usually this is for cloths, no, natin. Wina-wash lang to be recycled. But most of our hazardous material are being incinerated or disposed. For your chemical waste, no, usually we flush down water-soluble substances down to the drain with large quantities of water. So kaya pagka naghuhugas tayo or we are disposing chemicals, we just left your faucets run. Okay, strong acids and bases should be neutralized before disposal. So before you will dispose a acid, no, i-neutralize nyo muna with water. Okay. Foul-smelling chemicals should never be disposed down the drain. Bakit? This can cause explosion because of your fumes. And this can cause harmful to the environment, specifically to the community within the area of your disposal. Then, flammable solvent collected in approved container. So, meron mga container yan. Hindi natin basta-basta tinatapon sa drain ang mga pwedeng lumiyab. Bakit? This can cause explosion. Okay? Flammable materials, especially designed incinerators. Then, solid chemicals, usually, these are disposed to the landfills. For radioactive waste, it depends on the type of waste. Usually, if it's non-soluble or soluble, okay, its level of radioactivity and the radiotoxicity and half-life of the isotope involved. Okay? Bakit po? Some of your isotopes and radioactive waste are matagal mag-decompose. Okay? It takes years to have it lessened. Okay? Next, you do have your biohazard waste. For your biohazard waste, all biological waste except urine should be placed in appropriate container labeled with biohazards symbol. So this is your biohazard symbol. So for your urine, this may be discarded by pouring into the laboratory sink with large amount of water being flushed with. Okay? It should be decontaminated. No? The sink should be decontaminated with 5 or 10% sodium hypochlorite or your bleach solution. Then, this biohazard waste can also be disposed through incineration, inactivation, burial, chemical disinfection, encapsulation in a solid matrix. Okay. So for inactivation, no, with the use of heat sterilization, 250 degrees for 15 minutes. For chemical inactivation, you have ethylene oxide, okay? Usually 450 to 500 milligram per liter at 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. Then yung glutaraldehyde, 2%, 10% hydrogen peroxide, 5.25 hypochlorite bleach, and 10% volume per volume with tap water of common household bleach. Okay, sabi ko nga kanina, no, 10 minutes for your Hepa B virus and 2 minutes lang pala kay HIV. Okay, correction, 2 minutes lang po for HIV. So, next is donning and doffing of gloves. Okay, how do we don your gloves? First, no, remove one glove from the package and inspect for sure no pinholes or tear are present. So, huwag mong hawakan. Okay, check mo lang kung may butas ba na visible or wala. Then, no, if the gloves are ambidextrous, they can be worn on either hand. If not, align the glove finger and then thumb with the proper hand before donning. Okay? So, insert mo lang siya. Then, insert 5 fingers into the cuff and pull the cuff over the wrist. So, to have a good fit, no? Hugutin nyo lang yung dulo. Then, check for a secure fit around the fingers and palm. The cuff should fit snugly around the wrist. So, usually, ito yung pinag-interlace natin yung mga fingers natin to check for the secure fit of your gloves. Okay, how to doff your gloves. Okay, first, grasp the outside of the edge of the glove near the wrist. Hindi yung lining. Hindi yung loob. The outside. Okay? From that, you need to peel away the gloves using that area. Okay, turning it inside out. Hold the opposite glove hand. Okay, then slide an ungloved finger under the wrist. So, since wala ng gloves itong kamay mo, you don't have to touch directly the glove. So, anong gagawin mo? You need to insert your finger below or inside the glove, no? Para hindi mo ma-touch yung contaminated area. Okay? Then, again, you need to pull the glove from inside out, creating a bag containing both gloves and to be discarded easily. Okay, next is the procedure for your proper hand washing. Proper when hand washing, no? Our completing laboratory work and before leaving the laboratory. Okay? Before and after arriving the laboratory. You need to do hand washing. Okay? Removing of gloves. After removing of gloves, okay, you need to, again, do hand washing. Before eating, drinking, applying makeup, and changing contact lenses. And before after using a lavatory. Okay, because for hygienic purposes. Before all activities involving hand contact with mucous membrane or skin break. So, before ka magkamot ng mata mo, before mo tanggalin yung tinga mo using your fingers, or before ka magtanggal ng dumi sa ilong. Okay, you need to wash your hands before touching it. Or for males, no, before you are going to pee, and for females, for hygienic purposes, before you touch your private part, you need to wash your hands. Okay? Immediately after accidental skin contact with blood, fluid, or tissue, if ever that you have direct contact with blood or bodily fluids or even tissue, you need to, again, wash your hands properly. When I say properly, with the use of soap and proper technique of hand washing. Okay, how do we do the hand washing? First step is you need to wet your hands with warm water. Okay? Then you apply soap, antimicrobial soap. Then rub to form a lather, creating friction. Always note that the friction is important in hand washing. And then loosen debris. Thoroughly clean between fingers. So you need to interlace your fingers, including your thumb, undernails, and rings. And up to the wrist for at least 20 seconds. So your hand washing should about last more than or 20 seconds. About 20 seconds. Okay? Then rinse your hands in downward position for you not to have the water drain to your elbows and up to your arm. Okay? Dry with clean paper towel. Then turn off the faucet with a clean paper towel to prevent recontamination of your hand. So, paano yan? Ganito yan. So, first, wet your hands with warm water. Next, lathering hands and creating friction. So, pag didikitin mo yung kamay mo with hand soap, okay? Kuskusin mo with both hands, okay? Gagawa ka ng friction. Next, cleaning between fingers. So, you interlace your fingers with one another. Okay? Then, you rinse your hands with water. Clean water, of course. Downward position. Yan. Like downward position. Then, dry your hands with clean paper towel. Okay? Then, turn off the faucet with, again, clean paper towel to prevent the recontamination of your hand with the knobs of your faucet. Okay. So, that's how you do your proper hand washing. Next is, punta na tayo for your biosafety and biosecurity. So what are this biosafety and biosecurity? This is to protect your specimen, and of course, yourselves to harmful agent. So, first we define the biological agent. This is a presentation coming from the training of biosafety and biosafety officers from UP. Okay? Biological agents, no? Any microbial agent, microbial entity, cellular or non-cellular, naturally occurring or engineered, capable of replication or of transferring genetic material that may be able to provoke infection, allergy, toxicity, or other adverse effect in humans, animals, or even in plants. Of these biological agents are your bacteria, fungi, viruses, viroids, endo and ectoparasites. Okay, when you say endoparasites, these are parasites seen inside the body. Within the body. Okay, inside the body. When you say ectoparasite, these are seen outside the body. Anong example ng endo? Worms. Okay, your ascaris, your hookworms. Okay, sa loob nakikita. When you say ecto, sa labas, like your lice, okay, yung mga ganyan. Okay, next, you do have biological materials. Any material comprised of containing or that may contain biological agents. So, basically, these are fomites and or their harmful products such as toxin and allergens. When you say fomites, these are things or agents that may contain biological agents. Okay? Okay, laboratory biosafety. Containment principle, technologies, and practices implemented to prevent unintentional or accidental exposure to pathogens and toxins or their unintentional accident release. So your biosafety deals with the safety of the personnel or the environment, okay, or the community within the area of responsibility of your laboratory. Okay? While your biosecurity, okay, institutional and personal security measures designed to prevent the loss, theft, misuse, diversion, or intentional release of pathogens and toxins. So your biosecurity deals with the protection of your microorganisms from possible persons that have intentional no release of the pathogens and toxin to the community. Okay, that's biosecurity. Okay, so pagka sinabi nating biosafety, keeping the people from bad bugs. Okay, pag sinabi naman nating biosecurity, keeping the bad bugs from bad people. Okay, simple as that. Your biosafety plus biosecurity is equals to biorisk management. So these are your pandemics. Okay? The Wuhan Institute of Virology, wherein your COVID-19 was being identified to be released, was released. Okay? Identified that the COVID-19 was released from this institute. This is a laboratory or, okay, level 4 laboratory. It has a high security. Okay, but the virus escaped from this institute. So, possible biosecurity was breached. Okay? Then this is the anthrax, anthrax pandemic, okay, which is used in 2019 with mailing because your anthrax have can survive with dry areas. Okay, they are extremely capable of being alive in even in even in dry areas wherein some bacteria can't live. Okay, they are used as biological terrorism agent. Okay, pinadala, nilagay sila sa envelope. Okay, then those envelope are being mailed in the community. Then if you open that mail, okay, yung sobre binuksan mo, you can be exposed to anthrax. Okay, so ginamit yan as biological terrorism. Kaya we need to protect, no, agents, specifically highly contagious and highly dangerous microorganism from bad people because they can be used as biological terrorism agent. Okay, so for your route of exposure, first is your ingestion. Of course, you will be consuming the substance or organism through eating. Next is inoculation, the act or an instance of introducing a substance into the body. Usually, this can be through puncture, okay, or through administration. Paano? Ina-injectionan ka. O kaya, hiniwaan ka, then nilagyan ng or microorganism. Okay, next is for true contamination, the presence of a minor and unwanted substances or impurity in the skin or mucous membrane. So, kunyari, hinawakan lang kita but my intention is for you to be contaminated with my COVID-19 virus. Kasi ubo ko ng ubo sa kamay ko pero hinawakan kita. That's my intention. That's contamination. Okay? Then, inhalation is through the act of drawing air or substance into the lungs. So, this is through your nose. Okay? Respiratory airway. Okay? So, this is the overlapping of your biosafety and biosecurity. So, read on those. Okay, the principle of biosafety, number 1, practice and procedures. No, you need to standardize the practices and special practices and consideration for your biosafety. Next, you need safety equipments. The facility design and construction need to be accurate for your specimens. Then increase the level of protection with regards to the use of possible impeding security measures. Okay? So this is the diagram for your biosecurity. Okay, the intersections of your um, possible security that can be used. Next is your pillar of laboratory biosecurity. First is inventory control. Okay, you control what will be going in and what will be going out inside the laboratory, specifically with your specimen. Okay, information control. Keep your information confidential with regards to the personnel inside the laboratory. Personnel control. You need to limit the access of personnel to the laboratory, okay, for the safety of your specimens. Next, physical security controls. These are attaching locks, okay, mga biometrics, security locks, okay, fingerprint locks, yan. To control possible entry of personnel inside the laboratory. Then transport control. Make sure that your transportation of specimen are checked and always supervised for you to have a control totally with regards to possible um, spillage or possible release in the community. Next is emergency or incident response plan. So, what will be your plan if ever that there will be a leakage or intentional release or unintentional release of the specimen or microorganisms within the community? Then, emerging biotechnology. How will you protect your specimen using biotechnology? Okay, ano ba yung mga biotechnology natin ngayon? Yung mga locks, okay, na sobrang high-tech. Okay, then dual use of research of concern. Okay, paano yun? Dual research of use of concern. know what are the boundaries with regards to your specimen. Okay? Okay, for physical security, no? Assurance of safety from physical intrusions. So, mga barriers, no? Mga barikada, mga barbed wires natin. Okay, then yung security measure, no? Kailangan ng ID. Okay? Principle of physical security, no? First is to detect possible intruders or thefts. Then, to delay possible, no? Um, intruders on your laboratory and response to those intruders and access control to everything that you have inside the laboratory. That's why you need passcodes, CCTVs, okay, to monitor the area. Then, laboratory biorisk management. Your biorisk management, no effect of uncertainty expressed by the combination of consequences of an event, including changes in circumstance and the associated likelihood of occurrence, where biological materials is the source of harm. Okay? So, ano sabi natin kanina? Biosecurity plus biosafety is equals your biorisk management. So, we need to keep your personnel safe and your specimen or your microorganisms safe. Okay? Again, this is your biosafety plus biosecurity is equals to biorisk. So, consequences, no? Read on these levels, level 1 to 5. Okay, the consequences with regards to the community and to the laboratory itself. Okay, how do we manage the biorisk? System or process to control safety and security risk associated with handling or storage and disposal of biological agents and toxins in laboratory facilities. So this is your flow or the process within the laboratory wherein you monitor, you keep in touch with your specimens or your microorganisms to keep them safe from bad persons. Okay, your biorisk management aims to provide the highest practical protection and the lowest practical exposure. Highest practical protection with lowest practical exposure. Protection to what? Protection from your microorganism and to protect them also with possible bad persons. Then, lowest practical exposure to your microorganisms and your microorganisms to bad persons. So your AMP model, no? Assessment, mitigation, and performance. Okay. To have your biorisk management, first you need to assess, is there a hazard or a risk of possible leakage of your specimen? Then, if ever that there is, the result of your assessment is having a risk, no, you need to mitigate that. Okay, you need to remove it. You need to eliminate it. Then, how will you eliminate it? Via performance of your biorisk management or your biosecurity and biosafety. So for your AMP model, no, for A assessment again, hazard identification, okay, risk assessment, evaluate your workplace, evaluate the laboratory if ever that it has a hazard, okay? Then mitigate it, no? You need to control the possible hazard or eliminate it, okay? And for this to be eliminated, you will utilize biorisk control measures and risk management. Then performance, no? Through processes, quality assurance, and objectives of your laboratory, you will see if there will be an alignment of your mitigation process of the hazard within the laboratory. Okay, since our first protection for the possible infection is your PPE. So let's define your donning. So donning is the act of putting on or wearing of your PPE. Then the doffing is the removing of the item or removing of your PPE. Then hazards again, these are substances, event, or circumstances can constitute hazard when their nature would allow them, even just theoretically, to cause damage to health, life, property, or any other interest of value. Then threat, okay, the likelihood of an adverse event to occur as an expression of intention to inflict evil, injury, disruption, or damage. Okay? So, for us, no, laboratory is work, but laboratory is a dangerous place because microorganisms, hazardous chemicals, okay, and hazards are within the laboratory. Okay. For the donning of PPE, you can use this YouTube video from CDC on the donning. So for your donning of your PPE, first, no, this is the sequence according to the CDC. First, you need to fully have your gown wear. Okay? Fully cover your torso from neck to knee, arms to end of wrist, and wrap around the back. Okay? This is to also fasten in the back of the neck and waist. No? Tatali mo sa likod ng leeg mo, tsaka sa likod mo. Okay? Usually, this is being done nung kasagsagan ng pandemic. Okay, then, after you wear your gown, you wear your mask or respirator. Okay, how will you wear it? Secure ties or elastic bands at the middle of the head and neck. Okay, fit the flexible band to the nose bridge. Okay, press your, no, itong band na yan. Siyempre, minsan, meron matigas yun, no? Para mag-fit totally on your face. Then, snug fit the face and below the chin. So, if ever, no, yung tali, higpitan mo to fully protect you from possible aerosols. Then, fit check the respirator. Next, after you wear your mask, is your goggles or face shield. No, this is placed over your face and eyes and adjust to fit. Okay, this is to protect you from possible droplets that can be transferred to your mucous membrane through eyes. Then, your gloves, okay? Lastly, to be worn. Okay, extend the cover to the wrist of the isolation gown. So, i-overlap mo yung glove mo dun sa gown. Okay, that's how you do your donning according to CDC. Okay, for the doffing of your PPE, there is your reference again with the YouTube video from CDC. Okay, you can watch it. So for the sequence of the donning of your PPE, first, no, you will remove the gown and gloves. So how will you remove it? First, no, just rip off your gown. Okay, re-rip off mo yan kasi malambot lang naman yung tali niya. Then, no, try to not contaminate the inside of your body from the outside of the gown. So, papaloob lahat ng balot mo sa gown. Then, on the goggles, on the face shield, no, after your gloves, yun yung susunod mong tatanggalin. Then, your respirator or mask. These goggles and face shield and mask are directly disposed to the trash bin. Then, after that, use a alcohol-based hand sanitizer after removing all your PPE. Okay, for that, no, after also having the hand sanitizer, you can also perform your hand washing. Okay? So, this are your garbage disposal. For your disposal of waste, now we have a color coding system with regards to our waste. So, for black, it is for non-infectious and dry waste.
For green, non-infectious or wet waste. For black, no, ito yung mga non-biodegradable. Then for green is biodegradable. Yellow bag is usually for our infectious and pathological waste, including your cotton balls, okay, tapes, micropores, okay, mga alcohol pads, dyan, no? Syringe, specifically your barrel, not the whole syringe. Okay? Because your sharps, no, yung needle mo, it is need to be disposed with sharp container or puncture-proof container like this one in this area. Okay? Yellow with black band, chemical and heavy metal waste, usually with, no, to be disposed in landfills. Next is your orange for radioactive waste, no? Ito yung mga radioactive waste natin. This is specifically disposed um, in a specific area wherein radioactive waste are left to be deteriorated. Then for red, sharps and pressured containers. Okay? And lastly, our WHO and NIH risk group classification from WHO. Okay? You can read on this, no? So you need to know what category or risk group possible you are in, and then the individual risk and community risk. Okay? That would be all, and thank you. Quiz on next meeting.